Hey there, it's Trinity from Moonstone Mystics and the Divine Path LLC, here for another 12-step tarot reading. So today I wanted to talk about step 11, which is helping cultivate our conscious contact with our higher power through prayer and meditation. And in all honesty, I started this video and I was like, okay, what deck should I use? And Spirit was like, none. Absolutely none. Okay, so I guess we're going with an intuitive message today. If I feel called, I'll pull cards. But one of the things that I was talking with a friend of mine about, who's also in a 12-step program, is we were talking about the paradox that we can experience when we are conscious manifestors, and then where we're being told in our 12-step program that we're supposed to give our will and our life over to our higher power as we understand it. So, I know so many people who have had years of sobriety who walk around shaking like a leaf. They may be clean and sober, and they may be going to meetings and working with a sponsor, but they really haven't learned how to trust themselves yet. And that is where our conscious manifesting comes in. If you're anything like me and you have lived the life that I have, you know that there are a lot of times where we've made choices, or I've made choices that have not been good ones for me. And so that's where in the beginning of the program, when we're first starting to work our steps, we need to kind of give it over to God and let God heal us. And so we work the steps. And I had gotten to the point where I was praying and meditating every day. And I had kind of put my own magic down, because as my higher power of my understanding co-creates with me. And, I get to help make the decisions of how my life goes. I'm doing that anyway, and I'm very well aware of that. And so if, like, when we're anxious all the time, or we feel insecure all the time, we're going to attract things that make us feel insecure, that make us feel anxious. That's just what happens. When we're grateful all the time, when we seek out experiences that bring about joy within, those are the things that we start to cultivate. Those are the things that we manifest, whether you're conscious of it or not. That's how I understand the mechanism of the universe. And so my higher power of my understanding finally came to me after about 3 years of sobriety, after working a program, going to meetings, working steps with a sponsor, working with other people, and said, why have you not been doing what you know to understand? And so that's where I've kind of started working with my own magic, my own ability to manifest, my co-creating with the universe, this life that I really, really want. Or, which is the trick, or something better. Because oftentimes I may have an idea of the trajectory of where I want to go, the trajectory of what I would like to see with my life. And my higher power, even though we're co-creating, may have a little bit better idea of what I need at the time. And so that's where co-creating can come in, where I think the explanation of what need, that's where I needed some explaining for myself. Like I try and talk with God and tell him every day that I think that winning the lottery jackpot would be a fantastic thing. I mean, think about all of the wonderful things I could do. And God's like, you and I both know you're not going to be able to handle that money yet. You and I both know that you will not be leaving a legacy for your children. It'll be gone. And I think that is something that we need to understand as conscious creators, conscious manifestors who are also in recovery, also working the steps, to basically take a step back and say, you know what? There are all these things that I want, but I need to let my higher power step in and give me everything that I need right now. There's nothing wrong inherently with wanting more, wanting better. So long as you're first taking into account what's best for you, best for your family, and best for the community that you live in, and then the world at large. So looking at the greater good is always tantamount to anything that we want to manifest. Allowing spirit to come in, allowing spirit to come and set into motion the healing process for your body, and then you learning to trust it is really a key component to successfully manifesting on a conscious level. Okay? Because like I said before, if you're super anxious and you don't have trust that the universe is going to bring it to you, of course it won't. It'll just bring in more of what you're anxious about. I want to hammer that part of it home. This is where people can start slipping up. There's a part in the book that says that this disease is cunning, baffling, and powerful. And I am rigorously honest with my program. Even though I've worked a program since 2021, and that's the last time I drank alcohol, I also have almost 2 years clean from a wicked addiction to prescription pills. And then I was having a really great week a couple of months ago where I was consciously manifesting and doing the things that I wanted to do and manifesting what I wanted to manifest. And this disease slipped under the door in that little tiny crack and was like, hi, guess what? I'm your best friend. And I completely convinced myself to go off and do something. Now, it wasn't alcohol and it wasn't the drugs that I have a wicked addiction to, but the mechanism of what I was doing was exactly the same. And so when I realized what I was doing, I immediately called my sponsor. I immediately started going to meetings and I went back to step one, because that's when I knew, hey, I may be placing my co-creation and my manifestations above my recovery, and my recovery is the very first thing that I need to manifest in my life. And so that's why today I always start my day off with a very simple prayer of, God, please keep me sober today. That's literally all you have to say. And at the end of the day, if you go to bed and you're sober, you've won. It doesn't matter whether you got that to-do list done or not. Now, prayer is where we talk to God, get vulnerable, if you're frustrated, tell your higher power that. If you're mad, tell your higher power that. If you're really sad, tell your higher power that. Tell your higher power whatever you need to tell them, as if that's a parent. Then we meditate, and that's when we listen, because that's when the answers start coming in. And I'm going to actually be hosting a course through the month of September on Zoom. And then I think I'm going to probably put the link once the course is done for people to dip into. But it's talking about getting into conscious contact with our higher power and working with it so that we can manifest more easily through trust and faith, through ethical means, through looking at what the greater good is, because that's really, really important. Ethics is really important. There's a whole bunch of manifestation, a whole bunch of magic, a whole bunch of crap on TikTok that it doesn't even touch what the ethics of that should be. It doesn't even touch about how you should practice spiritual hygiene on a regular basis so that you're not attracting negative entities. I mean, it doesn't warn you about what can happen on the metaphysical level when you start playing with these things. And I think that's really wrong and misguided. So if you're listening to me today and you're resonating with what I'm saying, and you're really kind of thinking about, I too would like to start having conscious contact with my higher power and co-creating and manifesting at a level where it's not only healthy for me, but healthy for everyone involved. Because I am no longer a selfish, self-centered person like I was when I was in my full-blown addiction. Yeah, you're welcome to, come to that course once I post it. Anyway, I just got called to pull some tarot. We may get some clarification on some things. I do not know. But it's always exciting when I can dip into the ether for you guys. If you've gotten to this part of the video, thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of my recovery journey, because this is something that I do as an active service work for the collective. I just really appreciate everyone who comes here. I appreciate everyone who books personal readings with me. And, I just appreciate the ever-loving crap out of you. So let's go ahead and talk about step 11 with Spirit through the tarot. Oh, look. Look at the bottom of the deck. Keymaster Tarot, by the way. The Emperor. What I'm getting intuitively from this is the fact that when we work on step 11, we're working on building an empire for ourselves, having that stability through creating. We've already nurtured it. Right now, we're running the show, okay? Through self-confidence, because we have confidence in a higher power. If you are fumbling through and you really find a lack of faith, I just wish that I could ball up the amount of faith and trust I have in the universe and let you hold it for even 5 minutes. Because when you can get to that place where you have such knowing, such security that everything's going to work out for you and everything's going to be okay, life starts getting really magical everywhere you turn. So that's my wish for you. All right. So, step 11, Spirit, what else do we need to know about step 11? Step 11. Boop, boop. All right. First, we have the Knight of Wands. We have the Hermit. We have the Queen of Swords. And we have the Ace of Pentacles. All right. So, for those of you who have are just kind of starting this journey with step 11, what I'm seeing with the Knight of Wands and the Hermit, that's prayer, meditation, and service work. And actually, to be honest, I think the Queen of Swords really needs to be in there as well. Just making the decision that you're going to ask for the next right thing that Spirit wants you to do. And I'm also hearing the phrase, faith without works is dead. And so service work on top of the prayer and meditation is really important. And that does get into step 11 or step 12 a little bit. But really the action that we're taking to help our fellow man, the universe really likes that. You're going to start feeling really good and really confident about yourself, especially, and I think that this needs to be really, really emphasized if you do it on an anonymous level. So if you are seeing somebody's trash bin out on the curb and it's 2 days past trash day, maybe pull it up. I mean, obviously, if you're in a safe neighborhood, because you don't, I live in the South. People have guns here. So, I mean, all right. But as long as, just doing that for someone and then not taking credit for it. see, seeing someone who's homeless and then giving them the snack bar out of your bag, you know, because you never know, that might be the only food that they got that day, and then not bragging about it, you know. I know that there are a lot of people online who will post, you know, buying 100 hamburgers and passing them out and everything like that. And that does serve a purpose to be an inspiration for others to do the same thing. But we can't all be celebrity famous for being good people. And that honestly defeats the point, because that just serves the ego anyway. And so doing acts of service to heal the world without taking credit for it, because that's just the right thing to do, will make you feel fundamentally so much more powerful within yourself, so much more confident. So get out there, do that service work, volunteer, do good things, pick up cigarette butts off the side of the road and put them in the trash. You know, do something to make where you're at a better place, and you are going to start resonating with that from within as well. Okay, so that's what I mean by service work. It's not about stroking your ego and getting credit for it. So knock that off. Just go and do some service work for people, which I'm feeling kind of called out because I haven't really done much service work lately. Hey, I get messages in these too. All right, so the Hermit and the Queen of Swords, that to me is prayer and meditation. The Queen of Swords is that making the decision to of what you're going to pray about. Now, I recommend writing your own prayer. Yes, you can do it off the cuff. And a lot of times I do that as well, but I have a certain prayer that I say every day, and I'm being called to say it here. It's, Mother, Father, God, I thank you for this day. Make me a channel of thy love, peace, and power as you mold me into the best example of your will on earth to anyone put before me today. Please give me energy and strength as I go out from here to do thy bidding. Divorce my thoughts of selfishness and self-centeredness, and divest me of self-pity, self-seeking motives, and dishonesty. Give me anything that I may need to handle any troublesome issues that may come my way today. Help guide me to right thought, right action, and right spiritual intention as you help me to discern who, how, and when to be of service to you and my brothers and sisters. Guide me to know what your will is for me with clarity and focus. May I do thy will always. Amen. Now, I know that's a mouthful, but I literally say that every morning when I get up. Because at first it starts off with gratitude. I am grateful that I woke up today with the chance to make this planet a better place. I am grateful for every single thing that I have in my life. And I also take a step back and talk about my flaws. Like, God, hey, you know what? I've got all of these issues. I can be really selfish and self-centered. Can you help me out with that? So whatever that work looks like for you, that was just an example. You can use it. You're welcome to use my prayer. But, you know, I always recommend writing your own, because then that really means something to you. It's something that you've thought through. And then going about your day as you see fit. If you have any issues that arise that you don't know what to do about, seriously, pray about it. The Hermit. Meditation. That is where it's at, seriously. You may not get the answers from your higher power during your meditation, but I guarantee you, if you meditate and kind of get all of the overthinking out of your mind, there are going to be a couple of things that happen to you. You're going to be able to really focus on the next right thing that you need to do for yourself. You are going to have the energy and capacity to finish those tasks, because you are not boiling up all of your energy focusing on something that you can't do anything about. Okay? And then also, the added bonus is, especially if you're walking the path I do and you have started to notice like number synchronicities. Like I know a lot of people when they're on this path right in the beginning, they start seeing 1111 all over the place. That is telling you, hey, you're leveling up spiritually. You're really doing a good job. So it's almost like anytime you see a number frequency or a number synchronicity, whether it's in an address, on the clock, wherever it is, like if you pay for something and the total is $11.11, know that that is literally a high five from the universe saying, good job, good for you. That's awesome. Please don't put anything into it, especially in your early recovery, as far as romance, because right now we need to be focusing on the self. You are your own soulmate at this point. All right, so the next card I have is the Ace of Pentacles. And what I'm hearing intuitively with this is if you're doing these three things where you're doing acts of service, you're praying and you're meditating every day, then opportunities start to come flowing into you. And it's up to you to take those opportunities. Sometimes blessings fall in our lap and we don't have to do anything to receive them. And those are always wonderful, wonderful times. I love those types of blessings. Please, Spirit, send me more of those. But guess what? The vast majority of the time when we start getting this Ace of Pentacles, it's an opportunity. We've been led to the door. It's open, but we need to walk through it. So taking action on these is going to be really key as far as co-creating and conscious manifesting. So get off the couch. Get out of bed, and that's not to say if you've been, in your recovery and you have dealt with anything like narcissistic abuse and so forth, you're going to have a period of time where you're just really, really tired. And that's okay. I don't want someone on here thinking, oh, well, I shoulda, woulda, coulda. Because that's not what this is about. If Spirit is telling you, or if the universe is telling you, hey, you need to be in bed, just like it did for me last week. I was literally pissed off about it. But I needed it. The universe put its thumb on me and said, no, I need you to sit and I need you to pay attention to what I'm trying to tell you. And my response was, hey, mama's got to pay some bills, And my higher power came back to me and said, I thought you said you trusted me. And I was like, I do. And God pretty much said, look, then sit down, shut up, do what I'm telling you to do, and trust me. Because the money will come. The money will be there. You don't need to worry about paying your bills. Well, I did what I was supposed to do. I prayed, I meditated. I had to do some Zoom meetings. I worked with my sponsor. Guess what? I manifested the amount of money that I needed to pay my bills without having to do much of anything on it. You know what? I can't go through one of these readings without having to wipe my nose. And I don't even care. Because if you've been watching me this long, you're one of my peeps. And I keep it real here. All right. So I want to go ahead and finish up this reading with the Oracle of the Seven Energies, because I think that this is really something. If you, this is another high five from the universe. I'm being told, just because if you're sitting here listening to this and you're processing the information, that means that you're doing the work. And I'm really, really proud of you. Like, seriously, I'm really proud of you. And grateful for you. All right. Give us one message for us today. All right. Okay. Smoke and mirrors. I'm going to pull one more card because I'm very confused. The rose's kiss. Now, anytime I see the word kiss or have a pair of lips that I see in my environment, um, I remember the acronym Keep It Simple, Stupid. So first and foremost, keep it simple. I'm gonna split the deck on that smoke and mirrors. I've got the Nine of Swords here, which is about anxiety. Oh, ah, see, sometimes it takes a hot minute for me to get. Oh, that's the other thing. Okay, so I should write this shit down. I really should. I'm not monetized, so I can swear. So anyway, one of the other messages that I got when I was meditating, because this conversation that I had was a couple of days ago, and I really wanted to get a good, you know, grasp of, that paradox. Like, how can we work a program where we're giving our will in our life and be conscious co-creators with the universe at the same time? And the one thing that I'm hearing out of this with the smoke and mirrors and then the Nine of Swords, which is all about anxiety. Our anxiety, the fear, the resentment, the regret, the shame, the guilt, all of this stuff that this card represents is smoke and mirrors. Okay? You can't think clearly, you can't see clearly to manifest and then see the opportunities that are being presented to you if you're constantly in this energy and you're constantly dealing with this. Under that, I have the Page of Swords, which is about education, and then the King of Cups, which is about being able to, I'm getting intuitive messages, not going for the actual meaning of the card. Being able to love oneself, like crowning yourself, thinking highly of yourself while still being humble and walking in humility. That's going to be really important. But we really need to get rid of the smoke and mirrors and that other energy. I actually did a short not long ago. It was actually really fun to do, where you put your anxieties into my bag and then I threw it away. You should go watch that. It's really fun. Anyway, and then the other portion that I'm being reminded of is, as you could see, I didn't quite understand what the message was. And that's kind of how the universe works, especially when we're, trying to get messages on what we should do next. Might I remind you that Earth School is like a daycare for toddlers, and our higher power has to be in charge of all of it. So we have like 9 billion people on this planet. Each one of us has our own free will. So sometimes those answers can't come to us immediately because what the next step is highly dependent upon the people who we surround ourselves with. And so allowing grace and gratitude for the grace in order to keep an eye out for those messages that will come over time. There have been times where I have put out a question to the universe waiting for a response, because I could ask my spirit guides. I could ask, I'm a medium, so I could ask my grandfather. I talk with him all the time. But at the end of the day, that's not my higher power. That's still a human being. Yes, he's passed on to the next plane, but he still has his ego intact, and trust me, he has his frickin' opinion, and he will let me know. But when we're dealing with our higher power, those messages take time to filter down so that we can understand them and process them. So give the universe time. Oftentimes, if we're getting instant responses, unless it's an emergency situation, that's our ego talking. Okay, that's really important to be able to distinguish when we're working with our higher power and when we only think we are. And then we're creating havoc around us, and we're justifying it by saying, "Well, I have connection with God." Take your time. Those answers will come with time. Be patient. Patience is key when we're conversing with the universe. Plus, most changes take time, step by step. Haha, 12 steps. But as we go along with those 12 steps, as we harness that ability to be patient and sit in gratitude, the faster things will come and fall into place. Okay, that's all I've got for you today. I really, really hope that this may have answered some questions that you may have in regards to your own manifesting. If you have any other further questions, I'm always looking for ideas of what we can talk about through the tarot, or through my intuitive channeling. But until next time, if no one has told you today, know that I love you. Take care.